So the one thing that I've heard from a couple people, like some good feedback that I've heard, is like they like the way our voices sound.
Really?
Apparently we have good speaking voices.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, so am I. We owe it all to the microphones.
I agree.
It's weird, like hearing your voice, like played back into your own ears. You know what I mean?
I do. I play a lot of
Because-
video games, so I mean,
That's true. Do you hear your voice through your headset?
I'm just used to talking to like a microphone.
Right. That's not what I mean. So like everybody's voice sounds different in their own ears as it does to other people. So to hear your voice come back to you the way that it would sound. You know how people always say that they think they sound different on answering machines or in their voicemail and they don't like the way their voice sounds?
Yes.
That is what I'm talking about. So, you know, I mean, like to hear my own voice played back through headphones, sometimes I think, man, is that really what I sound like?
So if you were in a movie and you heard your own voice through the movie and through the speakers, it would ruin the movie for you?
I don't think so.
Do you think you could take yourself, like, if you were in a movie, and do you think the role would consume you?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I would be much of a method actor.
Mm.
And I mean, I go back and listen to these sometimes, the first two that we did.
Yeah, it's just like going over your artwork if that's what you want to look.
Yeah.
Like I have paintings that I constantly look at, like, the strokes on the mountains were a little thick here, but I like the way that the paint laid with it and mixed. So I try to copy and undo things in the future that.
Yeah. And I just want to see if anything that we're saying is like making sense or if we just sound as a bunch of bumbling morons. I noticed that I say like a lot, which I've heard can be a sign of low intelligence.
Really?
Yeah. Not that I think I have low intelligence, but I've heard that if you're constantly saying like, and like.
Word filler.
Yeah,
I actually got
exactly.
scolded for saying.
It's word filler.
Somebody was offering me a job and they said, "What do you do if he asks this?" I immediately said, and they like scolded me and they said, "Wrong.
Yeah.
You're fired. He's not going to take you seriously." I didn't even want the job. I was just being offered it, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of the things there was a presentation that we had to give when I was in high school. I think it was in junior year, maybe junior or sophomore year, in one of my English classes, and you had to give, I believe it was a 10-minute speech, and that was one of the things that the teacher said, is she said, do not try your hardest to not say, but man, it's difficult, especially when I'm describing a situation where multiple people are talking. I tend to say, and they were like, and I was like, and he was like, and she was like, which I guess, I don't know how else you're supposed to do that.
Descriptors, add adjectives.
Yeah,
I'm not too
yeah,
sure.
I guess I need to get better at that.
I think I also had a public speaking thing for the class. Not public. It was just the class in 8th grade. I just repeated the last sentence because I was short for time, and she pointed at her wrist. So I just said the last sentence over and over like a filibuster.
Oh, man.
Until the time was up, and people thought I was a genius. I didn't understand it. I was like, I don't know.
I thought
on the
you meant
spot.
you just said it again for emphasis.
No, I just kept repeating the last sentence. I just kept reading the last sentence over until like I thought the time was up.
That's hilarious. Because I can imagine saying something to the effect of, I don't know, and this is the way that everything finally came to a conclusion. She points at her watch and you go, and this is the way that everything finally came to its conclusion.
Yeah, it's funnier now. When I was in the moment, I was very
I bet you were
lost.
sweating your ass off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just nervous as shit.
Like, you can hear it in my voice. It's like cracking. I'm going through puberty. Like, ugh.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
There were a lot of assignments that I somehow got a B+ or more on. that
Moron.
I thought, yeah, because I am not an A student. That I kind of skated into getting a decent grade on because I don't know, luck.
Mm-hmm. Like you say, man, it's better to be lucky than good.
I don't say that. I've heard that.
I've heard you say it.
I've said it only because somebody else said it.
Wow. Have we ever had an original thought? The Simpsons has been on for like 40 years, dude.
I mean, I think
anything we can think of, The Simpsons has already done.
I think each individual has a perspective that's, you can have the same topic, but everybody has a different perspective on that topic, making it almost like a different topic.
Yeah, I listened to some comedians talk about this, about how they'll hear a comedian do a joke that's the same premise as a joke that they have, but you know, it's not as though they feel that comic stole their joke.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, well, we just had the same premise for a joke and they just came up with a different way to tell the same premise.
A different punchline, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's the Marine Corps birthday.
I saw that on Facebook.
I'm going to have to go get my uniform and get a free hot dog.
Ooh.
Maybe get some chili on it. That's extra, asshole.
Nacho cheese, nachos. How long have you been out of the military now?
Out of active duty since 23.
Yeah.
2017. January 6th.
Damn. Does it make you feel old thinking that it's been like 10 years since you joined the Marines?
I actually just reached out to an old friend and said, hey, it's been a decade. He was my senior.
Yeah.
And it made me, because there's reunions you can find, people that want to get together. I still stay in touch with a lot of the guys I deployed with. Some of them are still in.
Yeah, I mean, you play video games with a couple of them.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, of course.
I like the tactical advantage, the mindset that
and you guys built kind of a form of camaraderie that is hard to get rid of.
Oh, stories that we could retell to the end of the day, I guess. You know what I
Well,
mean?
and just that mutual suffering that you
Yes.
guys had to go through really helps bond people.
Yes. Cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. A brotherhood.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for every minute that I get to spend with them like they are. I've heard a person say, whenever I first joined, I asked if I could bring some friends home. And people's opinion on the Marine Corps was like criminals. You know what I mean? Like people that were in prison and they had no other option other than to join the military and stuff like that. And they didn't know who I was going to bring home.
That's interesting.
And I brought them home, and it turns out they were bright, funny, outgoing.
That's interesting. I've never had that view of Marines. I've never thought, oh, criminals, people who can't do anything else with their lives. I have a different kind of perspective on people that join the military, though. A lot of people kind of look at it as kind of the male equivalent of a woman stripping because she has no skills or nothing else to do. So some people view it as a man doing like, oh, you don't have anything to offer the world, so just join the military. But I mean, I think that it requires discipline and sacrifice and other things that should be, I guess, celebrated. They're like good qualities to have, you know what I mean? Not just anyone is willing to but to sacrifice years of their lives to doing something that isn't always necessarily fun.
Well, I personally, it was fun. Like, if the way I look at it, like everybody now, there still is a draft, but nobody was drafted. So we all wanted to be there.
Right, exactly.
So like a force that wants to happen is going to be greater than a force that's forced to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that also is like a celebration too. Like you're celebrating the fact that you get to do it. It's what you chose to do.
Yeah.
And people are happy that you were doing it. You can synergize with your decision.
Exactly. And, you know, again, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, I mean, working at a job everybody hates their job, you know, but at the end of the day, you can quit. Whereas
you can't
just quit the military.
Yeah.
That's treason, isn't it?
It's you'll get some time for it, I believe.
I mean, if you just leave,
it's AWOL. It depends under what circumstances. If it's a time of war, are you on a deployment? Are you acting willfully against the government's, needs?
I mean, say
you signed a contract. You
exactly.
You made an oath.
You swear in. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So so say you were to go to basics, finish, and say you're like 2 years into your 4 years, and you just decide, I fucking hate this, and I'm just leaving, and you just leave.
They'll get you for AWOL eventually if you do something and cops catch you, and then maybe the brig for like 6 months, and then they'll like sep you out, and you'll get like an other than honorable that you might be able to fight. Depends on how much of your contract I finished out. I'm not a very big lawyer. I only looked at my biscuit, like the plunger with the carrot on the end of the stick or whatever. I only looked at my carrot. I didn't really pay attention to it. But it can make or break your life if you make bad decisions while in, because the spotlight's on you. You're looked at like because you're supposed to be upholding a standard. But as far as does it make me feel old, I would say no.
No.
It makes me feel kind of young, to be honest with you, because I always have these memories. Like even if I'm possibly, God forbid, in a bed. For like until it's finished, I'll live in my head and I'll have these memories that I can
look back
live off
fondly
of.
on.
Yeah, and it won't be like people say like it must have been hell to go through. It's like, yeah, but reliving it, it's not. Like when you're in the moment, it kind of is, but whenever you're looking back on it, it was the best time of your life. It was, you were 10 foot tall and bulletproof.
That's a good way to look at it, man.
I don't want to. Because I was like, me personally, I was scared to death as a young child of like a mental hell. Like, where does your consciousness go whenever you're done? So if you really screw up your perception of reality to a point that it is hell, and you do flip the switch at any moment and go, is that where you live at forever in that state of mind? Because it's the last thing that you lived through, and maybe you made wrong decisions.
That sounds terrible.
Oh, it scares the daylights out of me.
That sounds terrible.
And I personally think myself as like magic exists and it's wicked. Like we're all wicked. We kind of look out for our own intentions, which is selfish, and I do that. So like I'm like
I do too.
I'm like a warlock.
Yeah, I heard today that there is something like over 60% of boys and young men between the ages of, I think, like 18 and like 15 are unfit to join the military.
What a shame.
And that in a couple years, there's going to be a huge shortage. And even now, the military is kind of not desperate for people, but there's like a very big shortage of people joining the military.
I never thought of that, of a society degenerating to a point that they can't uphold a standard in the military, therefore becoming like
either
complacent.
Either they are too overweight or they have like underlying mental health conditions and stuff. Yeah, they're like on the spectrum, or they have like bipolar disorder or depression or something like that. So I don't know, man. I'm excited to join the military. I can't wait. I'm gonna miss you guys. You know what I mean? But it's temporary.
I agree.
You know, and
I'm
again,
in your corner.
I'll be able to make fond memories and maybe learn some valuable life skills, and
Individual experiences may differ.
Yeah, you said about a draft earlier. Who knows, dude? I mean, if the shit were to hit the fan and we were to enter World War III, I would feel much more comfortable knowing that I allied myself with one of the most powerful militaries in the world, rather than sitting around waiting to see if I'm going to get drafted and put on the fucking front lines of the army. They just put a gun in my hands and they're like, hey, you're going to the Ukraine or to Russia or something to fight this war for this machine, this military industrial complex machine. I'll feel more comfortable knowing that I'm already in and I already have a job and I've already been trained with a specialization, and that way if there is a draft, they'll just look at me and be like, well, he's already doing his thing. Go after someone else.
Yeah, you'll be like a brick in the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
My grandfather, he was in the Army during Vietnam, and he chose to sign up over getting drafted, and he always stated that. He always stated, I didn't get drafted. I chose. They wouldn't do what I wanted after I chose, so I decided to get out after his second contract. I think he did maybe 2 tours there.
No shit.
The Army's no joke. They do like a year-long
Damn.
stint or whatever. Marine Corps is 9 months to 11. I don't think they go over a year. They could. It just depends, I guess.
Mm-hmm. My grandfather, he was in the Navy during World War II. And that story of him joining the Navy is funny. He also enlisted. He didn't get drafted. And he was, I believe, a crane operator. This is the story that he told. My grandfather has since passed, so if I butcher this story, there will be no one to correct me. But I believe, if memory serves, he said he was a crane operator, and he was sitting in the crane, eating his lunch, and his one friend started climbing up the ladder to the crane, and he knocked on the hatch in the floor. My grandfather opened it, and his friend had a look on his face. My grandfather said, "What is wrong?" He goes, "Norm, you're never..." My grandfather's name was Norman. He goes, "Norm, you're never going to believe this. The fucking Japs just bombed Pearl Harbor." My grandfather said he calmly set his lunch pail down, climbed down the ladder, went to the nearest recruitment station, and signed up for the Navy. Didn't even go back for his lunch pail. He was like an electrician or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't in combat, but
I mean, I've had officers that talk about 9/11. They would ask, I was in 2nd grade during 9/11.
I was in 4th grade.
And they were 18 when it happened. And what did they do? They said, send me. They were pretty hard.
Hard ass, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted a piece of that treasure, that Middle Eastern treasure. I was hoping some I'd find a princess or something.
Princess Jasmine.
Yeah, and
or a genie in a lamp.
Or
yada.
And my first wish is I want
more wishes.
More genies.
A loophole, baby.
I want more magic lamps. No.
My first wish is no one ever gets any more wishes after me.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. No, maybe a picture Saddam Hussein I could hang up that's super... Why would you have that? Because that would be having a... we went to we'll call it not a craft store, almost like a bodega that deals with flea market stuff.
Right. And we found Nazi memorabilia.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind.
Yeah, Drew wanted it. Drew was going to buy it.
I advised against it.
Yeah, so did I.
I also said if he buys it, that he's going to have to move out with it.
Right. Yeah,
So-
you don't want that in your house.
So having a picture of Saddam Hussein would be like having Nazi memorabilia, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Isn't it weird that Hitler is considered the Michael Jordan of evil? Especially when you look at guys like Joseph Stalin and who was that Chinese emperor? Mao, who killed way more people than Hitler and for way more years.
Documented.
And Stalin was the same way. I mean Stalin was way worse than Hitler. But
he had a bigger paper footprint.
Is that what it is?
It's got...
Or is it the way he did it, or the fact that he wasn't necessarily going after his own people like Mao and Stalin were? You know what I mean?
He technically was going after his own people.
Not really. He was going after...
Germany.
He was going after Jews and gypsies and black people and gay people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't just the Jews. Hitler had a thing against
minorities?
a bunch of people. I don't know if it was so much minorities. I think it was basically anyone who wasn't like German or like Aryan.
Man, I got a big nose, black eyes,
Yeah, you look
curly black
You
hair.
look a little Jewish.
My last name's Klein.
Yeah.
Like I have mental disease. Like he would,
Yeah,
I would
you
have
would
been
have
first. But
been.
they would have experimented me in ways. I would have.
Yeah, that or you would have been put on one of them trains and been like, "Hey, you guys, we're gonna relocate you guys to wherever. Hop in this train." And then like next thing you know, you're packed in there like sardines. The train ride's like 8.5 hours. You get off and
And
they're
it's
like,
freezing.
"Hey, we actually need to put you on a different train." And then you get back on and you're on another train for like 8.5 hours. And like you said, it's freezing. You're packed in there shoulder to shoulder. And they just do that until everybody's dead.
Yeah.
Not me, man. My last name's Barron. I got blue eyes. Yeah.
Tall.
I'm not tall. I'm average height. I'm actually on the low end of average. I believe average is from 5'10", 5'7" to 5'10". I'm like right in the middle. I'm 5'9".
I'm below average as well. My height.
Yeah.
I can't.
You and I are about the same height.
I can't reach certain things at like the grocery store. I can't like.
I always ask tall people to, "Hey, can you get that for me?"
Yeah. I'm always like, there's a light above my dartboard I can't really reach.
Yeah.
I get Drew to get it because he's like 6'1".
Yeah. Drew is tall. So is Blade. We need to have Blade on here. I would like to talk to Blade.
He does tree trimming. He deals with a lot of ticks.
He does.
To know about that.
He does.
Snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Wilderness is no joke.
Dude, not only that, he works with one of like the best lumberjacks in Pennsylvania, Zach Browse.
Was he on that lumberjack competition?
No, but he was in the one the year before, I believe.
No way.
Yeah, last time I was over at Blade's house, I was talking to him about going to that lumberjack competition. So you remember the one thing that they were doing where they were standing on the log and swinging the axe in between their feet?
Yes. Yes.
I told him that I said about how crazy that was and about how some of them were just wearing like regular Vans, like shoes, just typical shoes. He goes, "Yeah, but what you don't know is that they had chainmail socks on."
Wow.
And I said, "Oh yeah, I definitely didn't know that."
That's good PPE.
Yeah. Yeah, OSHA would be proud.
Here's a rule. I think it kind of deals with OSHA with my dartboard. I am the OSHA with my dartboard. If you catch a dart that bounces off, you don't get to throw it again.
That's
unless you're one specific person, but I only let them do it because...
Does this person try to catch darts that bounce back?
Ish.
Really?
Yeah.
What a fool.
I mean...
What would they do if it went through their hand?
They get to throw it again. And then they beat me, and they're the winner. And Nana Boo Boo, stick your head in doo-doo.
Oh. I also don't like the rule, the last dart rule. I think that's so stupid. So you miss twice, but you hit 1 out of 3, and you get to throw all 3 darts again.
You're aiming, yeah.
That's stupid.
It works. It's kind of stupid the way we play it because double in, double out is the actual, and you're supposed to hit the double bullseye at the very end to double out. And with my dartboard, the center is very hard, so it's bounces off all the time unless you spear it in, and it takes too long. So we just do 20-1.
I like that game.
Yeah, without the double in, double out part. It's kind of like training wheels darts rules, just to speed up the game a little bit, so you're not throwing darts for an hour and a half. I mean, I own a dartboard doesn't mean I'm like throwing in leagues or
yeah. Enough practice and you could. You shoot pool in leagues.
I do. I'm about I win maybe 1 out of every 3 games if I'm lucky, we'll say.
I've heard you talk about going on some tears.
Mostly during practice.
Yeah, whatever. Still winning. Winning's winning.
Winning is winning.
You're either first or last, baby.
There are just some people that the way they play a game is not only competitive, it's like they're also jolly about it. Like you're not bummed out if they beat you.
That's good.
Because they're a good sport.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I like that part of the game. I don't enjoy like you ever watch a football game and somebody stomps on somebody else's ankle as they're walking by?
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
Yeah. Bad sportsmanship.
Yeah, that sours the game.
Well, that was one thing whenever I was trying to get better at throwing darts, and I would throw darts a lot with you down here, and you would just beat me over and over and over again. Sometimes it would get frustrating, but then I kind of learned like, oh, well, if I can get excited about watching you throw darts, it makes losing not so bad. Like even though I am losing, to watch you throw good darts, if I can get excited about that, then it's not like I'm just losing at darts, Does that make sense?
Yes.
To like celebrate your victories as well.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
That was good sportsmanship. I used to be a bad sport as like a young, like 13 to 15-year-old.
Really?
My dad gave me a hard time about it because I was kind of bullying my sister. I still have a bad taste in my mouth with it because it made me feel real bad. Like, he is right. I am bullying my sister. She's just trying. She's littler than me.
What'd she beat you at?
She didn't beat me. I kind of caught the ball and she was running, and you know how you can like shove someone with the ball? Like, you have one of them big balls. We were playing kickball with one of them big rubber balls.
Right.
And I caught it, and she was running, and I pushed her with it, but it like shoved her real far.
Yeah.
And I laughed. And she was
Gotcha.
just little, and she started crying because she was upset and stuff like that. And my dad was like, "Why you got to be a bad sport?" And it's like, she already caught it. You didn't need to shove her and all this other stuff. And
Now, was this Bill, or was this your biological father?
My biological father.
Gotcha.
He was and I tried to. I ruined Mariah's time a lot of times. She made a water balloon fight one time, and I just broke all the water balloons before the fight because I'm a prick.
That's funny. I mean, I'll bet she didn't think it was funny, but
she
now
was upset.
talking about it, it's funny.
Yeah. I would aggravate my siblings until they would just have a meltdown. They would aggravate me too until I would have a meltdown. We would just do it back and forth all the time. Our parents were patient.
I was mean one time. I remember this still sometimes when I think, although, okay, so I think I was in 3rd grade, and this kid had this kaleidoscope that had like a cardboard end on it. Okay. And I remember I was like, "Oh, can I see it?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I looked through it, and I was like, "Cool." Turned it over and like shoved my finger through the cardboard and broke his kaleidoscope.
No.
Yeah, it was really mean. And, like later that day, my mom came into the school, and they were asking, like, I was talking to like the principal and the teacher and my mom, and they were like, "What do you think should be done about this?" And I was like, "Well, I think that I should probably go to the store and buy him a new toy because I broke his toy."
Really?
Yeah. And they looked at me so bewildered. They said, "That is an excellent idea." And so I went to the store with my mom, and I bought him like a set of, you remember Nerf footballs?
Yes.
The ones that had like the tails on them?
Yes.
You could throw them a country mile.
Yes.
I bought him a set of 3 of those. There was one that you'd throw it and it would like whistle. There was another one that was like kind of small, and the 3rd one I believe was just standard.
That's epic.
Yeah, I did feel bad about it. But yeah, looking back on it, I still feel bad, but I'm like...
Did he let you play with?
Yeah, of course he did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the next day I brought them. They were wrapped up. I can't remember the kid's name, but I was like, "Here, I got this for you." And he opened it, and he was like, "Whoa." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I broke your kaleidoscope."
I think I had too many cavities as a kid because cold
Yeah,
air
dude,
hurt my teeth.
the teachers let me and him go outside to throw those things. Like, it wasn't even recess, and the teacher like gave him and I time to go outside to throw those things because I don't know. I guess it was mature of me or something. I don't know. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn.
No,
it was a
no.
shitty thing that I did to that kid.
Right. But it's very...
Yeah, but
You know.
it took a lot of like like insight.
Did you use your own money?
Yes.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
see, that's like a mean thing into a selfless act.
Right. Yeah.
It's a redeemable quality.
Yeah. I used like my own money that I had saved from like birthdays and Christmas and stuff like that. And yeah, that's what I said. I said that I think I should go buy him a new toy.
Not
I should
me,
use
man.
my own money to go buy him a new toy.
I was in kindergarten, I think, maybe first grade, and it was a Christmas exchange, and I knew what my parents bought, and I wanted that.
You've told me this story, but go on. It's funny.
So what I did is I took the gift that I knew my mom wrapped and opened it and said it was mine, and then the toys got all bejumbled, and people didn't get the right gifts, and all of a sudden it was out of order, and I just lied.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came home with the gift my mom bought, my mom was like, "You are so funny. You ruined like the whole Christmas for that kindergarten."
And you were like, "Yeah, but I got what I wanted."
And then there was a investigation of the family with the parents. So us kids were getting investigated by the parents because they wanted to know who wrote the A word.
ASS?
Yes.
Ooh.
All over the white door.
Was it you?
With a squiggly pen that I brought home from school. It was not me.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote on it, I think, after it already had ASS on it. But I think I took blame for it, or somebody took. I think he just blamed all of us. But like I was the one that was like really hounded on. Like, I know you did it. I don't know why you just didn't confess. And I think they wanted me to just take the blame for it, so my little sister didn't have to take the blame for it, and then we could have just hid it under the rug.
Who actually wrote on the door?
I think it was my little sister.
Which one?
Mariah. I don't know, though. I'd have to ask her. I don't want to throw her under the bus because it's not a big deal now. It was just something funny. But I remember the neighbor kids taught us how to spell curse words.
Nice.
And my brother was like laughing, and I was like, "What's so funny?" And he's like, "You wouldn't get it.
You don't understand."
So I was like, "I will too. I'm old too, Billy. I'm a big boy too, Billy." And he was like, "We're spelling curse words." And I was like, "Oh, I don't want anything to do with it. You and your witchcraft.
You and your degenerate friends." Dude, I remember being on the bus. I think I was in like second grade. And these older kids were talking about blowjobs. And I had no idea what they were talking about. And like, I asked them a question, and they, along the same line, they're like, "You wouldn't understand, kid. Like, see yourself out of this AB conversation." And I was like, "No, I get it. Like you said, I'm a big boy. I understand. I'm cool." And they explained to me what a blowjob was, and I was immediately horrified. Like, I was like, ew. No way she puts it in her mouth. Like, my wiener, she's going to put my wiener in her mouth? That is gross.
This is along the lines of that. Somebody said, you kiss, like, if you kiss a girl, she puts wieners in her mouth.
So you're kissing
wieners.
Every wiener that she's ever put in her mouth.
Yes. And like,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So I'm gay.
Yeah, right. Me too.
Sue me.
Me too. Not only that, I've gone down on women, and they put wieners in their vaginas too. I'm so queer for the pussy. That's silly. To be like,
it's just
ew.
A good point. It's kind of like, I like vagina.
Yeah.
My mother has a vagina. I like my mother's vagina.
Right.
Kind of like that.
Yeah. Cousins are for practice.
They are. Until they get to the age.
Everybody knows that.
You can practice with your cousins until they get to the age to where babies are made.
Yeah.
And then you got to mature and you got to
stop.
You got to stop because that's not how it works.
Yeah, you don't want to get
had your practice.
Don't want to get your cousins pregnant.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. I mean, I just thought
man. I work with a guy who says he thinks kissing's gross.
Really?
Yeah, this is
a little smooch is fine.
This is an adult man who talks about how he thinks kissing is gross. Like licking each other's tongues and stuff like that, like French kissing.
Oh yeah,
he's like
it's
gross, and I'm like, whatever, dude.
Maybe they have bad breath.
How is it gross?
What did he say?
He just says about how, like, well, there's like saliva and like all this stuff. And it's like, you ever eat pussy? Like, how is that less gross than kissing somebody?
Yeah, it's all just enzyme factories.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like scratching your armpit and biting your fingernails.
Yeah. Yeah, or scratching your butt and biting your fingernails.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like,
I mean, not immediately after, but, sometimes you scratch your ass, you don't wash your hands.
and then you accidentally bite your
Yeah,
fingernails
then
before you forget.
A couple minutes later, you're chewing on your fingernails because you're playing video games or something.
It happens.
It does.
That's how you what are they called? Pinworms?
I don't know. I think that's how you develop a robust immune system.
Good point.
Yeah.
I'll have to start
scratching your ass,
biting my fingernails more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think
I chew the fuck out of my fingernails.
I stopped about 8 months ago.
It's a hard habit to break.
I quit smoking a year ago, and I quit drinking coming up on a year ago, and halfway through I quit biting my fingernails because I think I stopped getting side effects on my medication with drinking, and it stopped making me so irritable, and so we'll call it anxious. I don't even know what anxiety is, I guess.
Well,
it's a feeling of where you want something to be over with even though you're stuck in the moment.
First thing, congratulations on quitting smoking and drinking. That's awesome. Good job. Keep that up. But I'm not going to congratulate you on quitting biting your fingernails.
No.
But as far as anxiety, I'm not like a doctor, right? At least not licensed. Gynecology is a hobby of mine, but I'm not a licensed medical practitioner. But I believe that anxiety comes from us evolving in a world where we had to run from lions. Like life wasn't always so cushy and easy. We weren't always sitting in comfortable chairs speaking into advanced electronic devices that record our voice in real time. Like there was at one point in human development, we had to run to catch our food and then run to avoid predators that also wanted our food and to eat us as food. And so anxiety, I believe, is an evolutionary response to environmental stimuli like that. And it's like triggering the fight, flight, or freeze response in our like DNA. But now in 2024, we don't have to do that kind of stuff. So people get anxiety going to the grocery store because there's like this fight or flight or freeze response that's being triggered in your brain that people just don't know how to deal with, because a lot of people live sedentary lives. A lot of people eat trash food. Because like, I don't really get anxiety very bad, right? Even whenever I was smoking a lot of weed, every now and then I would get anxious to do stuff, but like, I don't suffer from like crippling anxiety. Some people can like, again, can't go to the fucking grocery store. But I think part of the reason I don't get real bad anxiety is because I exercise daily. You know what I mean? So there's like an output for that, like
energy or something.
Yeah. I'm like releasing some of that anxious energy through the form of strenuous physical activity. And I think a lot of people because that's one of the first, whenever I hear people talk about anxiety, that's like always one of my first questions is like, do you exercise? And almost unanimously they say no.
Well, the gym makes me anxious.
You can exercise not at the gym.
It's true. Push-ups in your living room, wall sit-ups, buddy sit-ups.
Yeah, you don't have to go to the gym to exercise. Go for a walk.
The best pumps I've ever gotten was with just being like, what are they called? Calisthenics.
Mm-hmm.
Just rows of burpees and tire flips and buddy crawls and just your whole body is swollen.
There's like something to be said about like fighting through the anxiety. You know, it like teaches you that like, oh, I can get through this and live through this and like live another day. Like this isn't the end of the world just because I'm dealing with this weird anxious feeling. It doesn't mean that I have to shut myself up in my house and smoke weed until I can't fucking see straight. You know what I mean? Like, some people, it's like, I have to smoke weed, otherwise I get anxious. Too much weed made me anxious, man.
Yeah, it'll have side effects if you OD on it, or not OD on it, but if you have too much. Or,
Yeah, you can OD on weed. It's not, you don't die from it, but you can OD on weed.
You get,
Actually,
panic attacks.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I think any real stoner has been violently too high, and it is a terrible feeling.
I think the brain stimulant helps me, like, just kind of be a little more complacent. I think a little more complacent because I'm already complacent, obviously, and I like that. It's I don't know. It's like my unconscious has a toy to play with inside of my brain because it's being stimulated. Like, if my brain was a cat, now it has a little red ball inside there.
Right.
When I smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives it something to do.
Yeah. Yeah, weed can be a great outlet. It can
Help me get off alcohol, I think.
Well, and it can make mundane things way more interesting.
I don't like that I could possibly use it as a crutch.
Yeah.
To
do nothing.
Well, I mean, in the state of Pennsylvania, I have a medical card. It's all legal.
Right. Of course.
And so I what's it called? I dose myself, which I think is the toughest part about getting a medical card, because it's all up to you.
Well, it's on the packaging.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I never read that. I just kind of go off of
I do believe that on the majority of the packaging it says what is considered one dose, even with flour or extract carts.
I've been recently getting into edibles just so I only have to take one towards the middle of the day, and it kind of just levels me out the rest of the day, and I don't have to worry about being anxious if I have any on me, or if the next time I get to do it, or because I don't like that. It's like I'm being controlled by something. It's like an addiction. Yeah, it's like but they say you can't be addicted to marijuana.
Yeah, you can.
So,
not physically, but
right. And I don't like that. I want to be able to stop something whenever I want to stop it.
People get addicted to food, man. Video games.
Oh, guilty.
All kinds of stuff.
Valheim.
Bro, I played video games for fucking 4 hours today.
You should. It's your weekend.
Yeah.
You earned it.
I woke up, made some coffee, went upstairs, played Spider-Man.
Yes. How is that game?
Awesome.
Graphics?
Awesome.
Storyline?
So far, so good.
All right. It should be. It was a pricey game, in my opinion. I'm a $20 to $40 game buyer. I'm not no $60.
Yeah, the problem is almost all new games are $60, $70.
Yeah, and then they come out with all that DLC that's $10 to $15 extra so you buy just so you're not behind.
That game Drew keeps trying to talk me into buying is $90. I bought the deluxe edition of Spider-Man and it wasn't $90.
Ouch. You can't, there's no return on the investment either, unless you're some type of...
No, it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you imagine if they were like, hey, you want to watch a movie? It's $90, but you can interact with it.
It would have to be a pretty good movie.
Like Spy Kids.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Yeah. I would probably pay $90 for an interactive Lord of the Rings film.
Wow. Almost like a 90-minute roller coaster ride where you're riding through the Lord of the Rings with the people. But they tried to do 3D. That stuff makes me half sick.
Yeah, that was a gimmick. I'm not a big fan of 3D movies, and
people bought 3D TVs.
Yeah, they did. Fucking suckers.
One born every minute.
Yep. Not me. I don't get God. I go get. I know people that have bought timeshares.
Ooh.
Yeah, talk about suckers. I work with a guy that has 2.
I'm a sucker. I bought a 2-year warranty on a truck that already had a 4-year warranty on it, so it didn't stack on the end of the 4-year.
That extended warranty is how they get you.
That's how they make their money.
That's
and
how they make their money.
Guess who's a big sucker? This guy.
Yep.
I was talking to a guy because that increased the value. It didn't increase the value. It increased my payments by $1,800 to $2,400.
God
on the end.
Damn.
Don't don't fall into the trap.
Yeah, the
that I
extended
fell into.
warranty's not worth it.
If I had $2,400 right now, I
Excuse
would
me.
be a king at the strip club for one day.
Hmm.
I wouldn't even drink. I would just give them money. Be like,
Right.
oh,
Buy their love for the night.
yeah.
Yeah.
What school you go to, girl? Let me pay for that
Let
class.
me pay for that class.
Yeah.
Shake
You
them,
need to get through nursing school,
shake
don't
them
you?
titties in my face.
Yeah.
Cover me in glitter, so when
Someone's
I wake up
gotta
the next
pay
day,
for their...
I can see the mistakes I made all over me.
Yes. Let my wife see it.
I don't really like strip clubs. I'll be honest.
I've been to them. It's fun if you force it to be fun. I don't know.
If you go with the right group of people, it can be fun.
I was with a group of people. I was with, well, not a group. I was with a company of people.
I would
3.
hope you go with a group. Anybody who goes to the strip club alone, that is fucking crazy.
Scary.
But I mean, it can be fun. I've had fun at the strip club, but the thing is it's like you always spend too much money. Drinks are so expensive. It's like $8 for a beer. And like, I don't know. I don't want to get too crude, but like, you're not allowed to touch them. Like,
It's the oldest, well, true. I was going to say,
you know
it's
what I
the
mean?
oldest
Like,
profession.
no, it's not though. Stripping, it's not. Prostitution is the world's oldest profession.
And
like-
this is just prostitution, PG-13 prostitution.
Yeah, it's like softcore prostitution. Like, they'll get naked and stuff, but like you can't touch them.
I never wanted to.
You get yeah, you did.
Eh.
Yeah, you did when they're grinding all over you and stuff.
Well, I'm in like a, what's it called? A coma of like feel good endorphins
Yeah.
that I can't wake up from because
I mean,
I'm being entranced.
And that's what
by
I'm
their
saying. There's
thighs
like
and stuff.
a lot of stuff going on. You know, they smell good.
Yes.
They're soft.
Well, if
you're-
you touch them, they're
You're
soft.
drunk. Well, they touch you.
Yeah, they do. They get your drinks. They call you baby. They call
Yeah.
you sweetie.
Yeah.
Hey, hot stuff.
Act like they're interested in you.
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend. I'm not going to put him on blast for this, so I'm not going to say his name. But we took him to the strip club a couple times, and he spent all of his money
Ouch.
at the strip club. And I don't mean like essentially all of it. Like, we took him to the strip club the day he got paid, and he was getting paid bi-weekly at the time. He got paid. We took him to the strip club, and he spent his entire 2 weeks paycheck
In one day.
in one night at the strip club. And then a couple months later, did it again.
I mean, it's not a habit. He only did it twice.
Yeah, but it was after that he decided no more strip club. We agreed. We were like, we cannot bring him to the strip club because, first of all, he fell in love the first time that we took him there. The one stripper, I mean, she got him hook, line, and sinker, dude. He fell in love with her. And
Man.
yeah, and it's crazy to think that you can't see through what they're doing. They say all this
Well-
stuff. They say all this sweet stuff to you, and then you ask the guy, "Well, how much money did you give her?" And they'll tell you. It's like, "Well, yeah, I would say all that stuff to you for that amount of money too."
Oh, wow. I never thought of that. I never thought about being like, huh.
You're throwing money at them.
Yeah. Resources.
Of course, they're gonna say nice things to you.
Oh, if people are throwing $20 bills at me, I'd be like, oh, man, thank you. You're
Right?
So,
You're
the
the nicest, hottest person I've ever met. You're so interesting.
Yeah.
Let me tell you my real name, not my stripper name. You mean Cinnamon's not your real name?
Do you think it's like sex trafficking on a lower level?
I don't think so. I think a lot of them do it willingly.
Okay.
They make a shit ton of money.
I'm glad they should.
They should, because it's gross.
I was going to say because it's tougher than it looks.
Of course it is. But also, I mean, you know that like nightly those poor women are getting groped by dudes.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, you know it.
It's tough skin. They're going to be tough.
Yep.
I mean, if I was getting groped by, we'll reverse it. We'll put it the negative photo. If I was a stripper and I was getting groped by like biddies and, women and
You
stuff.
would love it.
I would love it for a little while and then it would get old.
Yeah.
whenever like the same 6 show up every week to spend their Social Security check on this 2.5-inch gherkin.
Right.
And then I have to I have to come up with like a new act every week to like, oh, now my baby mama is trying to take custody of the kid and I don't have any money because of the court case.
Yep.
Like, oh,
They all want to grab it, but they don't want to pay for it.
I got to work construction. That's why I have this hard hat on tonight.
Yep.
On my second job, and I'm so busy I just couldn't take it off. And unless you give me $20,
Well,
and then I'll take it off.
then I'll take it all off.
Oh.
What would your stripper name be?
Well, I think I have one. It's Dirty Al.
Ooh.
I'll do you dirty.
That is a great stripper name,
I'll
Dirty
pretend
Al.
to drink with you all night, and you'll be wasted, passed out, and then I'll rob you.
Ooh, but dirty, I don't know if that's really necessarily like the lane you want. But I guess if your persona is like a construction worker.
I prefer the name Dirty Al. Weird was taken, so I mean,
Yeah.
I went with Dirty.
Yeah. Weird Al did kind of jip you on that, huh?
Mm-hmm. If only I was born first and came up with a bunch of
Silly songs.
Yeah.
I would argue that you are weirder than Weird Al, but I don't know him personally.
He's professionally weird.
He is professionally weird.
Which is a moneymaker.
But, like, is he that weird? Like, again, I don't know him, so I don't know what he's like in person. So who knows? He might just be like a totally normal guy.
He went to a party, Weird Al, and a celebrity noticed him, and he was like blushing that celebrities knew who he was, that he knew.
I like whenever he sings songs about Star Wars.
Yes. They're tough songs, too. They're like 7 minutes long. He has a lot of powerful songs. Middle school is when Weird Al popped off for, I think, the bus ride. Because you got the middle schoolers in the back listening to AC/DC. You got the Weird Al Yankovic going on in the front with all the elementary schoolers, and then the high schoolers that like are smart enough to not drive because it saves them gas money to take the bus, are like, doing their high school gross stuff, finger blasting each other in the back of the bus.
Ew. Finger popping each other's assholes.
Tomorrow's Veterans Day, which is right next to the Marine Corps birthday.
Happy birthday, Marine Corps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is 1775 minus 2024?
Not sure.
I don't have.
Don't feel like doing that math.
I agree.
And then tomorrow's Veterans Day. Like you said, you're gonna have to put your greens on and go get a free hot dog.
Yes. And walk around and just start screaming at people when they don't thank me for my service.
Yeah.
And ask them what their problem is. No.
I shed blood, sweat, and tears for this country.
I could share a funny military story.
Yeah, go for it.
I just got my first cell phone whenever I was like in the Marine Corps so that they could get a hold of me. And I sent out a group text of my penis.
Ooh, was it a good picture of your penis?
No.
No?
No, I don't even know what it was.
Bummer.
I just remember being like, it took me a month and a half to realize what happened because they weren't talking to me.
What was the angle like? Was it like from the top down? Or was it like...
I think it was just me in bed, like just straight down.
Yeah, just top down.
I don't even think I wasn't shaved, nothing, just
Nice.
full bush.
Nice.
19-year-old me.
Nice.
Sexually harassing women
Hell
through
yeah.
text messages.
Hell yeah.
They shouldn't have gave me their number.
Right. That's really their fault for owning a cell phone. I'm kidding.
I'm not sorry because, I did it.
Right. I don't take a whole lot of pictures of my dick. I take pictures with my dick.
Like it's just in the photograph because it's part of you.
Yeah. And like I'm not big. I'm more a fan of like implied nudity. Like if I'm going to send a woman pictures of me naked, I'm more a fan of implied nudity. Like you can clearly tell I'm naked in the picture, but you can't see
like you're on
anything.
Your belly and the blanket's just covering your butt cheeks up ever so slightly and you're like taking a picture face down.
Yeah, stuff like that. Or like holding a towel in front of your junk after you get out of the shower.
Or a cowboy hat.
Stuff like that. I'm more a fan of like leave something to the imagination, you know?
Oh yeah.
Don't, I'm trying to think of an analogy here. Don't give them the whole cookie jar when all they asked for was a cookie, you know what I mean?
Oh wow, good. Yeah. Leave them wanting a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That way they see it and they're like, I wonder what the whole thing looks like. And then I can disappoint them in person.
Yes.
Wah, wah, wah. They're
You
like,
looked so
"Oh,
much
no."
taller in your
Right.
photo.
Oh, damn it.
You looked so much younger. I like to do that.
But
I
at
like
that
to put
point,
up-
it's too late.
I put up photos on the internet of me being 21 and 19, and that's all I post.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm 31, so I have like sunken in eyes now and a couple
Yeah.
of gray hairs.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "You look so much younger in your photo.
Yeah.
What happened?" And it's like, I think you know what
I
happened.
think you know.
I think you know how it works. We're all just trying to trick each other.
It's called catfishing, baby.
Is that what that's called?
Well,
if I
no.
give a false representation of who I am on the internet.
Catfishing, yes. But catfishing, I believe, would be like if you pretended to be a woman.
Oh, I think
There was a show about it. It's called Catfished.
Well,
It's popular.
did they use stink bait?
I think they used rubber worms.
Nice.
Yeah, night crawlers. You can catch catfish with corn.
Yes, you can. And
I-
minnows.
I caught a catfish on a spinner.
Yes, you can. It's uncommon, but it's also uncommon to catch a 38-inch tiger muskie on a spinner too.
Who did that?
I believe it was you.
Oh shit!
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was you, and we had no net.
No, we were totally unprepared to catch that
And the
fish.
pliers we were using to try to get the lure out of this thing's mouth were 1.5 inches long.
Yeah,
Because it was a micro set.
yeah. Well, again,
And then we
we were there to catch smallmouth and trout.
What's the first thing someone told you when they saw your fish?
Oh man, I'm so happy you asked. So when you first got me into fishing, like once I really started to enjoy it and get into it, because I'll admit, when you first start fishing, it kind of sucks. Like the first couple times you took me fishing, I was getting snagged constantly and I couldn't cast. And, I'm like watching you catch fish and I don't catch fish. And it's like, oh gosh, this, but you got to it's just like anything. Like you'll get better at it if you just practice. So, I remember telling you, I cannot wait until I get good at fishing and I catch a huge fish. Just so, I was so excited for this, just so I can show the picture of the big fish that I caught to somebody. And the very first thing they say to me is, well, I've caught bigger fish than that. And now to answer your question, when I caught that 38-inch tiger muskie, the very first thing that the guy who helped get it out of the water said to me, I caught a bigger fish than that. That was the first thing he said.
It was.
Yeah.
He did help us, but
He did, but he also said, well, I caught a bigger fish than that. Cool, thanks, man. I haven't, so.
I should have just pretended like
This is a
what
big
is this,
deal.
a beaver?
Holy shit, a
Yeah,
platypus!
like really hammed it up. But I don't really think in like high tense.
I cut my
situations.
thumb on that fish's teeth.
Yeah, it had some jowls on it. Those things swim around in the lake. They get even bigger than that.
I just can't. It was that day that I realized that people just overcomplicate the daylight out of fishing. People will tell you you need this, you need that, you got to do this, you need a steel leader, you got to have bait, you got to do this. If you're trying to catch trout, you got to use monofilament line because otherwise the trout will see the line, they will have nothing to do with it. People overcomplicate it, man. The last time you and I went fishing, we were in, I don't know, shin deep water. I could see it was bright and sunny outside. I have green line on my fishing rod. And I caught a rainbow trout in 2 casts. Nice like 9.5 inch rainbow trout. And it's like, oh, on a spinner. And it's like, people be like, oh, whoa, you got to have monofilament leaders. You got to have this, you got to have that. And it's like, I think you don't. I don't think that's true.
I like to complicate fishing, in all honesty. I like the new knots. I like the leaders. I like to buy new lures. I like to learn about.
I like to buy new lures too.
Yeah, like I personally like to overcomplicate fishing because if I'm gonna
Because
use a knife, I want it to be the sharpest knife.
Yeah,
in a
but
sense.
you're like you like the gear aspect of things.
I do. I have the vest.
Yeah,
I have the rods.
Yeah.
I have the tackle.
Mm-hmm. But like everything, I mean, like, you know, you have 2 monitors on your computer. You have a nice computer. You have a nice gaming chair. You have the plastic mat underneath the chair. You have a Nintendo Switch with a carry case, and you have the charger for the controllers. You have a case to carry your darts in. You have plastic cases to carry your darts in. You have a foam case to carry your darts in. You have a pool stick that has its own case.
Right.
Then you have the stand that matches the case and the pool stick that you can put on stuff to lean the pool sticks on.
Claw.
You're like, yeah, a claw. I knew what the name was.
I use the gear.
I didn't know what the name was. Yeah, yeah, you're like a fan of having like the gear for the stuff, which is, I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I'll use a bar stick, but my pool stick's like $75. Like it's a stationary cue.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's I don't know. I've always heard it's not the stick, it's the sticker.
Mm.
You know, the guy sticking the cue.
The guy's sticking.
Yeah, I'm the
Right.
one poking this ball.
Yeah, you should play with a cane.
Yeah. I thought about buying a cane so I can walk around town with my top hat. My roommate advised against it. I thought about getting whenever I order sheets, I changed my name on the Sheets app to Hail Satan.
Funny.
And I want to get a top hat and a cane. And whenever they say Hail Satan, I'm just like, that is me.
Yes, that is I. I'm here to gather my goods from the bodega. Sir, this is a Sheets. Yes. I shall take my wares and retire to my homestead, where I will eat your chili hot dogs.
Where your nourishment will help me worship the Dark Lord.
I will enjoy these chili hot dogs until 20 minutes after I consume them and I realize I have made a mistake. I have set in motion a series of events that cannot be undone. Now I have indigestion, heartburn, and probably more than likely diarrhea.
I have a funny story.
About diarrhea?
Not about diarrhea. It
Okay,
deals
go
with
ahead.
billiards because you were talking about pool cues and I said Hail Satan. There's a gentleman that invites me over to his house and he tells me to make sure I don't play any like evil music. Or
Right.
anything.
Is this the guy that likes Billy Strings?
No. This is a
okay.
different guy.
So, because I remember you saying you went over to shoot pool with a guy, and he goes, "Hey, I'm kind of into weird music," and you were like, "Okay." And the first song he put on was Billy Strings, and you were like, "This isn't weird."
Yeah, I immediately said to myself, like, I'm about to have the greatest day of my life. It was almost like letting you have the whole McDonald's play palace to yourself for 3 hours, but it wasn't. It was a person there. But he'll tell me not to play evil music. This guy, like Slipknot or anything that's too hard, and we won't. But whenever I shoot a shot or I make a shot, I'll say things like "Hail the Dark Lord."
Yeah. All praises to the devil.
Yeah, I welcome evil spirits into this house. Stuff like that, and he'll just be like, "I saw you, man. I saw you. That ain't."
Don't be bringing that evil into my house. Well, they followed me in here. I didn't see any salt whenever I crossed the threshold.
Yeah, you invited me in.
Right.
Oh, did you know I'm a fun vampire?
Fool. First mistake was inviting me into your house. I come with the evil spirits.
Or like talking about evil spirits, talk about like lottery superstition.
Yeah.
Gambling superstition. I was going to take like a
A
Ouija
Ouija
board.
board, yeah. Ask it if people are gay.
Oh.
Ooh, yes. So, ooh, shit. Looks like you're gay. Sorry, the spirit said so.
The spirits have spoken. It is final.
Some people get so freaked out by Ouija boards, dude. And it's like, bro, you know that they're like owned by Mattel. Like it's like a fucking toy owned by a fucking toy company. And if you believe that you can summon the fucking devil with something that's owned by Play School, you're an idiot.
The devil must not be wait a second, that's exactly what he would want to infect your children.
You don't think that the devil has other stuff going on rather than to like answer every fucking house call with some jackass playing with a Ouija board?
Huh.
What happens if you and me, let's run an experiment. We'll both get Ouija boards. You'll summon the devil and I'll summon the devil at the same time.
Okay.
And if he appears to both of us, we'll have to be like, well, which one of these is a phony?
Okay.
And then he's just like, I'm the fucking devil. I can be anywhere at any time.
Yeah, I am outside of time and space almost.
Yeah. And then we both feel stupid. And then we both get our souls drugged to hell.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe in evil spirits. I don't believe in ghosts. I think that that's like, they're like, when you really start to like analyze ghosts, there's just so many things that just don't make sense to me. Why do people assume they know ghost rules? Like, why do people assume they know the rules of what ghosts do and what they have to adhere to?
Huh. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like they're in some type of like board game.
Yeah. Like there's a rules card that came with ghosts. And people are like, well, ghosts can't do this and they can do this. It's like, how the fuck do you know that?
Yeah.
How do you know the ghost rules? I always come back to this like, okay, if this apartment was haunted, okay?
It is. By me.
Right. If this apartment was haunted, what happens in 1,000 years when it's bulldozed and there's no longer an apartment here? Is it now just the property line? And if it is the property line, why are ghosts bound by human surveying rules? If I hire a surveyor to come in and resurvey the property and the property line moves 2 feet, is the ghost now have 2 more feet that they can roam? Or are they bound to the original property line? And if it's the original property line, again, circle back to my first question, why are they bound by human surveying rules?
Maybe
that doesn't make sense.
Maybe depending on the ghost, it's only stuck around for so many years.
Why are there no new ghosts? Why are all the ghosts from like the fucking 13th century?
Like Viking ghosts?
Yeah, there's like no new ghosts.
Huh.
People die every fucking day.
A baby ghost.
There's no new ghosts. How come there's no ghosts that are like 19 years old?
A fish ghost.
Yeah. I just don't understand. People be like, well, it's, like it's the original, it's like where the original property was, where the house was. And it's like, okay, so once again, you are assuming that an ethereal fucking creature is bound by our physical understanding of what property is. It doesn't make sense to me, Alex.
I agree. I'm not against you on this argument.
I've dug this horse up and beat it to death again. Because I mean, I've talked, and like I'll get some people that will be like, well, there's a lot of sandstone in the ground. It's like, shut up. Why do you know the rules? How do you know the rules of ghosts? They're ghosts.
What are those websites called whenever they first entered on the internet? Like, you could just make your own website.
You can still
about,
just
like,
make
UFOs.
You can still just make your own website.
You can?
Yeah.
Doesn't it cost money now?
Of course.
I'm not very tech savvy. I agree. I don't know. Those ghost shows, I won't watch them because they jump scare you.
And those ghost shows. That's
I'm
another reason.
In this room.
That's another reason that you know what they never ever find in those ghost shows?
Bigfoot.
Ghosts.
Oh, ghosts.
And on all the Bigfoot shows, you know what they never find when they're hunting, searching, looking for Bigfoot?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Got that one.
People 50-50 shot, you got it. There was like this one show about Bigfoot where these people, they were looking for Bigfoot, obviously. They found some fucking salamander or something, like a newt or a salamander, that scientists thought had been extinct for like 2,000 years. But guess what they didn't fucking find, Alex? Bigfoot.
Huh.
You're more likely to find an animal that scientists believed was extinct than you are to find Bigfoot.
Yeah, but it makes for a good show.
I guess if you're an idiot and you're into like low tier entertainment.
What do you find entertaining, Troy? What do you-
PlayStation,
Yes. we talked
Xbox.
about that.
I like anime.
Yeah, speaking of anime, I watched Ghost in the Shell again.
So good.
I wish it was longer.
Yeah, me too.
It's kind of short for a movie.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not saying that like I know what good entertainment is, but like I will
You know what entertains you.
Right, and I will confidently say that those finding, searching, looking for Bigfoot shows are fucking stupid and low tier entertainment. Trash.
My parents used to watch the Bigfoot shows just to, you know, see what these crazy
Yeah,
people
but
were all about.
I've met your mother, and I'll bet she'll tell you that she's seen Bigfoot.
No, that'd probably be somebody else in my family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think my mother believes in Bigfoot, but I could be wrong. I never really asked her opinions on aliens, Bigfoot.
I think you're more likely to find aliens than you are Bigfoot.
I agree. If aliens would be counted as like single-celled parameces, DNA, or anything.
Hey man, the rule of thumb on this planet, as far as life went, for millions of years was single-celled organisms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's only been like the past 200,000 years that multicellular organism, maybe longer than that, but like the humans have been around. So for like millions and millions, hundreds of millions of years, all that was on this planet was single-celled organisms.
Yeah, little sicknesses, little bugs almost.
Yeah, little amoebas and stuff.
Like a petri dish.
You know what else I get bent out of shape about? People that believe in haunted objects.
Ooh.
Like people that think that like teacups are haunted and like baseballs.
Yeah, like a spirit has attached itself.
Yeah.
Or a demon has like put a spell on it to
that kind of stuff is
turn it into a portal.
Kind of stuff is so stupid. There's that one family, there's that man and that woman, I believe Ed and Lorraine Warren or something like that, that have like the largest collection of haunted objects.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've got like this room in their house that they keep all this stuff in. And I'll tell you what, Alex, and I say this with 100% confidence, I will go in that room and rub my nuts on every single fucking thing in there, and you know how I'm going to sleep later that night? I'll honk shoe snore.
I'm trying to come up with some type of like joke where like the pussy's haunted with like my dead
Wiener?
DNA.
Yeah. Oh, my dick died. Can I bury it in your pussy?
Like a sperm graveyard.
Yeah. That's your balls because you got a vasectomy.
Yeah, I got 2 gravestones for testicles. Yeah. I'm a chick with a dick or something.
Yeah, you're like a human dildo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's pretty cool.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I mean, I am fortunate enough. I'm living, you know. I'm like, the bills are paid.
Did you
so I can't complain.
Did you ever watch Foamy the Squirrel?
No, is that a TV show?
It was on the internet. There was an episode where he bought a toaster from that haunted house in Amityville, New York. You know
okay.
You know what I'm talking about? And he's like talking to his roommate who's like this goth chick. And this is anyway. And he's like, watch. And he puts a piece of white bread in the toaster and he pushes it down and it says like a couple minutes later. And it pops up and it's wheat toast. And his roommate's like, wheat toast? How the hell did you get wheat toast? And he's like, nobody knows. He goes, you want to know what's really crazy? You put in wheat toast, you get pumpernickel. You put in pumpernickel, you get a blueberry muffin. She goes, bullshit. He goes, well, I just so happen to have a piece of pumpernickel bread. And he puts it in and presses the thing down. And a couple minutes later, a blueberry muffin pops up. She goes, holy shit. What happens if you put a bagel in it? He goes, the guy who sold it to me said something about getting a toasted human hand. I wouldn't fuck with it. Wheat toast? How the hell did you get wheat toast? Nobody knows.
I never watched a lot of internet stuff. I watched like Kenny versus Spenny.
I believe the website was Ill Will Press.
Never heard of that website.
Yeah. It was all about Foamy the Squirrel. Some of them were funny. He talks about fear factor in one of the episodes. He's like, I'll give you fear. He's like, you chain all the contestants to a wall. He's like, strip them butt naked, chain them all to a wall it's completely dark in the room that they're in. And the only thing that they can see is a giant clock on the wall that says you have this long to live. And it slowly counts down from 24 hours. And then whenever it reaches to the last second, you flip on the lights and you yell surprise and you hit them in the face with a big pie. And he's like, if they don't die due to shock, he's like, then it's time to really turn things up. He's like, strap them naked to a metal chair that's connected to a heating element and slowly increase the temperature until it's as hot as a branding iron. And once they've passed out due to the extreme pain, I don't remember every part of it, but it's fucked up.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's like, I'll give you fear.
Yeah, that was what was it? FX? Fear Factor?
I'm not sure. That's where Joe Rogan got his start.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I believe news radio was before Fear Factor. People forget
My brother liked that. He liked
that Joe Rogan used to have hair and make people eat animal dicks.
Would you eat maggots and animal dicks? I wouldn't jump out of stuff.
No, not for $10,000 or whatever the price, whatever
Really?
it was. Yeah, fuck no, dude.
Maggoty cheese? That's like an aphrodisiac.
No, and I'm not gonna eat an entire bull dick either.
I got A1.
They're like the size of your arm.
Oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
not even that hungry.
Right. Oh God, all this dick and I'm not even hungry.
Can I get a doggy bag?
No.
Eat it tomorrow and then get the
finish all of it.
$10,000 tomorrow?
Nope, you gotta finish it right there in front of him.
Oh man.
Yeah.
There's like I wouldn't be humiliated. Like there's like people would think like, oh, I'd be humiliated if people saw me like eating a dick on TV. It's like I'd eat 2 of them. You know what I mean? If I'm, like I said, if I'm hungry enough.
Ugh, I can't imagine the texture.
It'd be like a tongue maybe.
I think it would be like chewy.
Yeah, you can't get it down and you're like, probably could be
I don't
bad
think-
indigestion.
Yeah, not for the money that they were getting
Poor
paid
bull.
to do that. Well, I
They'd have to get
assume-
3 dicks because if all 3 people ate it,
Yeah,
that's 3 bulls that don't have a dick now.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure they came from butchered
Oh.
animals. I don't think that they were just out there cutting bulls' dicks off and then feeding them to people.
Dude, you show up and they're like, there's 3 bull dicks. One's like 4 inches, one's like 8 inches, and one's like 2 feet. And they give you the one that's like 2 feet, and you're like upset because
You have to eat the big bull dick.
you got the bigger one. Or you're excited.
Yeah.
Bigger meal. I
I was
skipped
hungry.
lunch.
Yeah. I knew that it was going to be an eating challenge, so I didn't eat anything today.
I don't know. I talk a big game until I start eating the texture of maggoty cheese, and then I'd probably bow out. I'd probably get 2 bites in.
Yeah.
And people be like, "Oh, you already tasted it. You might as well finish it."
I couldn't.
Yeah, I probably couldn't do it. I couldn't jump out of anything. I was in a couple helicopters and stuff, but we never really, fast rope off of like side of walls and stuff. A couple times, nothing crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
I am now afraid of heights. I think it came with an older thing.
Sure.
I get all shaky and frozen, and when I'm up too high.
I'm not a big fan of heights either.
They say they come up with funny sayings like it's not the heights that'll kill you, it's the fall and stuff like that.
It's not even the fall, it's the sudden stop
yeah,
at the
that's
bottom.
what it is. Thank you.
Yeah, but how about I just keep my feet on terra firma where I don't have to worry about it? If I fall from just a standing position, then, I mean, what, I'm going to bruise my wrist?
Yeah. I mean, there's people that have fallen in the shower and,
Oh, yeah,
ended their
dude.
life.
Old people, that's like one of the scariest things to me about getting old is the fact that like a 3-foot fall, like falling from a standing position can be enough to fucking kill you.
Yeah, I almost cracked my skull open wrecking my bike out in front of my apartment.
Yeah, but you rolled right out of it like a badass.
I did, and I landed on my feet. And the woman that almost hit me said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Did you see that sick-ass roll I just did? It was like a flip."
She said no.
And she just threw her hands up in the air like, "I can't. As long as you're okay."
Get out of here, bozo.
Yeah, so I did. My bike was all dinged up.
Yeah, I remember. You were worried that it was broken beyond repair.
Yeah. I like that bike.
Yeah, I like that
Bicycling's
bike too. Yeah, bicycle, we should note.
Yes.
Alex and I aren't hard enough to ride motorcycles. We ride pedal bikes.
Yes.
And not the ones with motors on them. Just
nope.
We are the motors.
Mountain biking it.
Yes.
Down the H&BT rail trail.
22 miles round trip.
Which they need to put pull-up bars along the rail trail.
Pull-up bars.
So that you can get a quick pull-up bar session.
Yeah, get a fucking pump.
Yeah, some dip bars.
Yes.
Some pull-up bars.
That would be cool.
I'd say tires, but animals would end up living inside.
Mm-hmm. Spooky spiders.
Yeah, because nobody would flip them.
Right.
And who's going to flip them to maintain the grass?
People would let their kids play on them, and they would get bit by a black widow, and then they would blame the state.
Yes. I agree.
Where's my money?
Like, you got to be careful with, like, putting pull-up bars and dip bars into, because wasps will make nests inside.
Wasps. Not if you seal them.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
They always put, like...
But once again, there would have to be, because, like, I just thought about this, but, like, some jackass parent would bring their kid out there. Their kid would fall off the pull-up bar. Excuse me. Their kid would fall off the pull-up bar, break their arm, and then the parent would want to sue the county.
I didn't think of stuff like that.
Because people suck.
Man. Can't have anything nice.
Dude, I went to this, like, thing at work that was, like, a thing about how, like, parenting, and it was, like, talking about, like, the benefits that, like, the company offers if you're a parent or something. I don't know. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention. It was essentially a paid hour off of work. But it drives me crazy the way that people who have kids talk about it.
What do you mean?
Everybody thinks their fucking kids are special. Everybody thinks that being a parent is so fucking hard.
I mean, I'm not a parent.
Neither am I.
But
I'll tell you what. You can do it, and you can be a parent in your pajamas.
What?
Any job that you can do in your pajamas is not the hardest job that there is. Yeah, as I sit here in sweatpants, cross-legged on a recliner.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
I mean...
I'm also not sitting here claiming that I'm doing the hardest job in the world.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I'm not claiming that you and I are extremely special.
I didn't mean anything by that. I just noted that you stated pajamas, and I was wearing pajamas.
Right.
That's all. It had no correlations with anything that dealt with.
Here's the thing, Alex. If everybody's kid is special, do you know what that means?
Nobody's special.
Nobody is fucking special. You know whose parents, their kid was special? Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's parents. Kid. Yeah, that's a special kid. Like, the 1% of the 1%. I hate to break it to, if anybody who's listening to this has kids, I hate to break it to you, your kid's going to be a fucking factory worker.
Yeah.
Like, even if they go to, like, tech school, they're not going to be Elon Musk. They're not going to be Michael Jordan. They're not going to be Jeff Bezos. They're not going to be Joe Rogan. You're talking about the 1% of the 1%. The majority, the vast majority of people's kids, even if you go to trade school and you become a plumber and you become extremely successful, you're not going to be the world's greatest plumber. You're going to be another fucking plumber. And yeah, you might make better money than a dock worker, but you're not special. You're just another guy who got good at something. The world, in 100 years, the world will forget you.
Yeah, but we need that.
I agree. We do need that. So why is it that everyone needs to insinuate that their kids are special and not that they're just another fucking run-of-the-mill child?
Well, I think it's better to feed the idea that they're special than it is to be like you're a nobody.
Well, I'm not saying
your kids like
I'm not saying that you're going. I'm not. Everybody is somebody. Nobody is a nobody. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, you're like, don't. How do I phrase this? Like,
an accommodation.
Like you said, we need doctors and nurses and dock workers and retail workers. We need that kind of stuff to make the world go round. Those jobs are important. I'm not saying that those things aren't important. I'm saying that like plumbers and welders and electricians and stuff, you can be more successful than just a retail worker, but you're not special. Again,
what does define special?
The 1% of the 1%. People who in 100, Einstein was special. Nikola Tesla was special. Achilles was special. Like people that in 100 years, people are still going to remember your fucking name and your accomplishments.
Yeah, but like, I look at it in
that
a way
is
that's
special.
Yeah, I look at it in a way that like everybody could be special, because what's the difference between? I mean, yeah, he probably throws 100 points a game, but he's got 2 eyes and 2 arms and 2 legs, just like you and me.
You talking about Michael Jordan?
I could be talking about Michael Jordan.
I'll say Michael Jordan scored 50 points in an NBA playoff game with the flu. You know what the chances are of making it into the NBA, Alex?
I don't want to be in the NBA.
No, I'm not saying you do. But do you know what the chances of making it into the NBA are?
And is this judging off the population of the world?
Yes.
Or just America?
No, the world.
Okay. I don't know.
Less than 2%.
That's a small percentage.
Yes.
So, and that's any job in the NBA. That's like you're either the basketball thrower or you're like talking about it on TV. Or are you just talking about the basketball players?
Just the players.
Okay.
You probably have a better chance of being a sports announcer than you do a player
percentage.
in the NBA.
Not to cut you off.
Less than 2. It's like 1.6%.
That's a
of
lot
the world's population.
That's still 1.6%.
That's just a chance of making it into the NBA. It might even be less than that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I think that it's important. Like, the reason everybody wants to say that their kids are special is because they think that their genetics are special. The kids are like, they're like a manifestation of your genetic material. It's like your genes and someone else's genes combine together to create a whole different genome that's like a unique individual person. That is special. The fact that like we're all our own individuals, that is special in a sense that like there's no two people alike, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna grow up to be, God bless you. That doesn't mean that you're gonna grow up to be special. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, we are all special in our own unique way, but like, again, your kid's gonna be a fucking dock worker.
It's kind of narcissistic to say that your kid is special.
It is narcissistic. That's exactly what my point was.
Oh,
is that like the reason that everybody wants to say their kids are special is because it's their kid, it's their genetics. And this is like the whole thing. People will be like, this is why people who like spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on in vitro fertilization won't adopt one of the millions of children out there that need adopted, because they think that they need to have a representation of their genetics. And it's like, you're a fucking hairdresser. Like, what's so special about your goddamn genes that you think they deserve to live on so much? Adopt one of these poor kids instead of going into fucking poverty because you can't get. And then people will go through in vitro fertilization and be like, well, finally, with God's hand guiding us the whole step of the way, we were able to finally have this miracle baby. And it's like, I'm pretty sure the first 3 stillborns that you had was God's way of saying, hey, lady, quit trying to get fucking pregnant.
It's a tough one. Ouch. I don't know the first thing about getting pregnant. I can't even get someone pregnant. It scares me. Like,
yeah, me too.
Like,
I don't want kids. If that's not insanely obvious of the way I talk about children. I don't want them. I don't like them. I don't want them.
There's anecdotal evidence out there from like thousands years past talking about like women that are barren that can't have children, but then you have Molly Sue over there having the litter to like a bunch of different men and not treating them right. And it's like, well, I mean, to each their own, you know? It's like, but then, you know, the barren woman like adopts a kid and it turns out to be like a prodigy because it was raised under the right circumstances.
Moses, baby. And also, at the end of the day, Alex, we live in a country where freedom exists.
Yeah.
So if you want to go into debt because you think that your genetics deserve so badly to live on, go for it.
Throw them in the rat race.
Do it fucking twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By all means, it is your God-given right. That's the thing I love about this fucking country, man. If you want to eat cheeseburgers until you are 900 pounds, dude, that is your God-given right in this country to do it, and I support it.
You're allowed to, you can OD on the street.
You
Not
can
legally,
OD on the fucking street, baby. Yeah. If you want to shoot your dick off, man, go for it. You want to blow your dick off with a shotgun?
Jesus.
if that's what you ultimately want out of life, I think that's what you should do, dude. America, baby. Greatest country in the world as far as I'm concerned. Number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I fall in the category of like only getting along with kids that are like related to me, because even the kids that are related to me, love them. They'll push your buttons, you know? So, like, kids that aren't related to me that push my buttons, it's like, well, I'm going to push your buttons back a little different than I would kids that are related to me. I'm going to play something like that. It's kind of like in the animal kingdom, offspring that aren't the alphas usually get offed.
Eaten.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not having any kids, because I don't want them to get eaten.
Sure. By society.
I mean? Yeah. By the monster of society.
Yeah.
You could say that. You could say I'm scared. I just don't think I'm responsible enough.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't need that power. I think I am reserved the right to take it away from myself.
Right. I'll be the
first.
first.
This is America.
Amen, brother. I'll be the first to admit that, like, one of the the main reasons I don't want to have kids is because, like, I'm too selfish. I'm too immature. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to worry about, am I feeding them right? Am I raising them right? Are they going to be crazy? Are they going to get a good enough education? Like, I don't want to have to constantly be worried about another human being's life. Like, I worry about my own life enough. You know what I mean? I don't need to be worried about another tiny, defenseless human being's life.
Jeez. Yeah, they're little beans.
Yeah, they are.
They got them little fingers.
Yeah.
And they, like, make motions and stuff.
Yeah.
Little babies.
They got wobbly necks.
Oh, yeah, mushy heads.
Yeah.
Not that I've heard. I've heard that their skull doesn't develop until later on.
Mm-hmm. The plates are, like, separated. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some people's kids, I think that, like, oh, that's a cute kid. But I don't want to raise like, it's not enough to make me be like, oh, I should
have some of your own.
I should have a couple kids.
Yeah, I'm more of an uncle.
Yeah, same.
I like to do arts and crafts and stuff.
Right. I'm the same way. I'm more of an uncle. And, like, the uncle who's, like, going to talk to, like, the kids when they're way too young about, like, conspiracy theories and stuff. Yeah.
And, like,
be like, you know that, like, monocrop corn is, like, subsidized by, you know what I mean? Like, just go into things that they just don't understand.
You should be careful sitting on the toilet and flushing it when you're sitting. It might suck
your insides out.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just tell them real scary stuff.
Yeah. I told Parker one time when he was younger, he was, like, scared about going upstairs because he thought there were, like, monsters or something.
What kind of monsters?
I don't know, spooky ones. And okay. I told him to make sure he stays out of my room. I was like, yeah, there are definitely monsters in my room. Not only are there monsters in my room, they're adult monsters. So the monsters that are in your room, those are just kid monsters. The ones that are in my room are way worse than the ones that are in your room.
Yeah, you can't even conceptualize how scary they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You put on an Easter egg hunt, I've heard, one year for, is it your...
Parker?
Yeah, he's like your nephew?
He's like my nephew, yeah.
Yeah. And how did that go?
Yeah, so Easter fell on April Fool's Day, the one year. And I took a bunch of candy out of the plastic eggs, And inside of them, I put things, not all of them, mind you. You know, some of them still had candy and dollars and stuff in them. But then in other ones, I put like rocks and pine cones and broccoli and like things that you don't want. You know what I mean?
Potato salad.
Yeah. Baked beans.
It's all over my candy.
He opened the one and there was like broccoli florets in it. And he was like, broccoli? And I was dying, dude. And like also some of those Easter egg hunts that we would do for him when he was young, I would hide the fuck out of those eggs. Like I did not make it easy because like some people just lay them on top of stuff, like hide them in plain sight. Bro, I would hide them.
My cousin,
I would make them tough to find.
She got upset one year because the eggs were too easy to find.
Yeah.
She was like, "This is for babies."
Yeah, you gotta give him a little bit of a challenge. But man, again, he was like, it was so fun because like he would spend all this time looking for them and then open it and there were like Rolaids in it. He was like, what are these?
It's for your acid reflux.
Yeah, after you eat all that candy.
Yeah. There was an egg hunt one year. Me and my brother were younger and we fist fought over a big egg, like down in the woods, and like surprised our cousins because we were like, one, too old to be fighting over eggs, and two, we're fighting.
Who won?
He won.
He was older than you, right?
Yeah, he was older. He won a lot. I got a couple cheap moves on him one time. I threw a rock when he was jumping on the trampoline and hit him right in the head.
What part of the head?
Like right by the eye,
the
temple.
Fuck.
Like right in here by the brow.
Damn, dude. Did you feel bad about it?
Not really. He would get me so aggravated to the point that I would throw a rock.
Throw rocks at his head.
Yeah. I'll freaking cane your ass.
Right. You're lucky I can't throw a big rock at your head.
Yeah. Wait till mom comes out and sees your brains all over the friggin' trampoline.
That'll show you.
Yeah, and you deserve what you got.
Oh, man.
I was a little, like just didn't go ebb and flow or whatever. I didn't really paddle downstream a lot.
Right. Do you think that any of that has to do with the fact that you have schizophrenia?
The schizophrenia I have is supposed to have affected me like more than just at the age of 24 when it got like exacerbated because I have schizoaffective.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like I ran away from home.
I did that.
Like, did you get picked up?
No, I went to my grandma's house.
I went to a buddy's house and stuff like that. But was it in town? Because I was walking down.
Well, this is when I lived in Somerset.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this was with my biological mom. And yeah, one time I ran away from home and went to my grandma's house. She was like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm running away from home, Grandma." And she was like, "Oh, okay, come on in."
Oh, wow. Yeah, Grandma, be cool. I'm tired.
I walked all the way here.
Well, the way it sounded was like my parents were too busy to take me to my friends, so I figured it out. I'll just walk.
Right.
But apparently for like a third grader, walking along like the highway and stuff, not the highway, but like the main roads are
See, and like that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? Like I remember you telling me about how when 9/11 happened, you said you were in second grade.
Yeah.
And you said that like you kind of had this aha moment where you were like looking at the adults and none of them knew what was going on. And you were like, oh, like everybody's just fucking faking it.
Yeah, nobody's in charge.
Right. Which is a weird thought for an 8-year-old to have.
Like it was, I guess you want to say traumatizing, but they weren't telling us what was going on. They were acting like we wouldn't understand. And then whenever like the parents were trying to explain it to us because they were, scared.
Right.
They didn't know what was going to happen, so they did the best they could.
I just mean that's kind of a profound thought for an 8-year-old. It like doesn't seem, most 8-year-olds are like more concerned about like other things rather than like, are the adults faking it?
Well, I was just, I like always emotionally out of check. Like I remember a lot of kids really didn't get along with me too much because I was like, flying off the handle or lying or like just making up stuff.
Sure.
all the time.
But then I also remember talking to Estelle one time and asking her, like, what was it like growing up with you? And like you having schizoaffective. And she was like, he was one of the most normal out of all of us. Like, she's like, he didn't, like, she's like, we never would have guessed when he was younger. But then you say things that like kind of are on the contrary to that. So like, I don't know.
I kept a lot of it internal because it was my problem. It was like my secrets. Like these are like my little my little hidden secrets. Like I don't tell anybody that I'm being controlled by like outside forces or that like. But when I got to the age of 24 and 25, and it was like, it was no longer cute. It was no longer this cute quirk I thought I had. It was a bunch of voices I was hearing being extremely negative.
Right.
And I was like, uh-oh. Like, this has changed, and it's not getting any better.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying home remedies. I was, like, looking up to buy sage. How do I get, like, a pastor to, like, bless me so I'm not possessed?
Mm-hmm.
I'm, like...
Putting pennies in your socks.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to say breaking into churches in the middle of the night to hide weaponry, but...
Allegedly.
Yeah. Just real weird, and it was controlling my actions, and I got help. Thank God it's out there. I thought I was onto something, man. I was like, nobody will talk to me, and now I'm in an institution. I was like, you guys want to talk to me? I was like, because I got some stuff I got to tell you. I was like, you want me to be honest? I'll
be honest.
I'll be honest. And I told them, and they were like, well, these are clear signs of types of schizophrenia, and it crushed me. Because I thought I was onto something.
I thought I was reading minds, baby.
Yeah, I thought I had telepathy, man. I thought the angels were finally coming to their senses, man, and like being on my side. And it turns out it's just a chemical imbalance.
Dude, I remember you telling me that like you had a thought one time where like you thought everyone else had telepathy.
Yep.
And you were the only one that didn't.
Yep.
And we all knew it.
Yep.
But no one would say anything about it.
Yep.
Gosh, I can't imagine what that would be like.
Just ignore him until he starves to death. Like that's what it was.
Right.
Or like there was a lot of like me versus everything. Like I thought I couldn't even trust the doctors at times. Like even though I thought they were poisoning me.
Right.
People could like, especially in the institution, like they would really try to like get on each other's symptoms. I don't know. One guy told me that I don't have to trust anybody if I don't want to, and like if they give me medicine and I don't want to take it, I'm allowed to like reject it and stuff. And it's like, well, they just told me to take the medicine because it'll make me feel better. And now you're telling me something else. It's like, who do I trust?
Probably not the crazy people.
Right, but I was out of mind.
Sure.
I was like...
But you know how you said, like, whenever they were like, these are clear signs of, like, schizoaffective disorder, and you were like, oh, no.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Crushed by it. Wouldn't it have been worse? Like, I've said this before to you, but, like, wouldn't it have been worse if they would have been like, yeah, you're right. We're all demons, and we're here to corrupt you and drag you to hell.
But here's the
And then,
thing.
like, one of them just, like, rips their face off, and they're like, ah!
Yeah, that was a big scary moment because I didn't want it to all be true at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
Because, like, I go in and I'm like, hey, I think there's a conspiracy where you guys are going to crucify me upside down because it didn't work the first time and you're going to gaslight me into thinking I'm a chosen one. And then they go, yeah, it's inevitable.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
And I'm stuck in I turned myself in.
Yeah.
Like, this was easy. He turned
right,
himself in.
They're like high five, and we got him. He's an idiot.
They said he would be the most hardest thing to freaking capture, and now he turned himself
in. Yeah, right. It's better. There's like got to be part of it that is like it was a bit of a relief.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whenever it's like the part in Fight Club when he goes to the cops, and the cops are like, "No one's gonna stop Operation."
Right.
Doomsday or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you got to run for your life. But I didn't. I didn't have to. They treated me very well. It was excellent.
That's a crazy book and movie, Fight Club.
Yeah.
He was schizophrenic.
Yes. I think because I have paranoid schizoaffective multiple personality disorder mixed with depression because schizoaffective affects your mood. So if you get a low, you're technically depressed. And
Sure.
That's how it falls into that
Sure.
somehow. Don't quote me on that. I think in that movie, didn't he have multiple personality disorder with schizophrenia?
Yeah. What's that called? Dissociative personality disorder
Okay.
with schizoaffective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the way I look at it, like, or I read about it, is every form of schizophrenia is different. It's like
Sure.
a shade of color on the ultimate spectrum of light or
Right.
something. Like everybody has a different form of it, but they have overlying commonalities.
Yeah, there's a lot of common themes. A lot of it is like there's a lot of at least in like all the things that I've like videos that I've watched of people with schizophrenia and stuff and like talking to you and everything. There's a lot of like a lot of it kind of comes people think that they're talking to angels or that angels are talking through them.
Yep.
And I wonder if that's in like even people who aren't particularly religious or weren't raised particularly religious have this thing where they're like, well, yeah, I thought angels were talking to me. And like, I wonder if that's because of like maybe some of like the visuals that you manifest whenever you're in a psychosis. There's probably like, now again, I am speculating because I
Right.
don't have schizophrenia, but like, I believe like biblical angels are covered in fucking eyeballs. And like,
Yeah.
I think that is like a common theme because of it's like this idea that like you're always being watched
And judged.
Yeah.
Like when they see, I talk about it 'cause, like the way I can best articulate these presences is through like they almost act like they're deities there to either help you or misguide you.
Mm-hmm.
And like it all just depends on your decisions on how they manipulate you.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the question of like, if you're manipulating me, is it my real decision? And then it's almost like a catch-22. Like I was in the institution believing that my mental disease is like my brain is just coming up with catch-22s against we'll call it the almighty that I think is talking to me or whatever. Like they're coming up with these delusions.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately it's you that's coming up with them. Like,
Right.
Like I was like World of Warcraft was a huge one that really threw me through loops. The fact that I played it, like it was anything and everything could have triggered it. I was just in a psychotic episode at times. And but the best way to describe them is, I guess, angels. I also call them aliens.
Sure.
Because like they're like extraterrestrial creatures that you can't technically see, and then when they show themselves, you're like, you want to gag on your tongue almost.
Yeah. And then like I also remember you telling me one time about how like you can hear them talking, but like they refuse to acknowledge anything you say.
Yep.
Like you can like hear them talking about you and you like say like, well, hey, hold on. And then, but like they just don't even acknowledge it. Or like, then they just get quiet or
Like,
something.
yeah, imagine if someone overrided like, can you talk to yourself in your head?
Yes.
I can't really do that.
Sure.
Because I have 1,000 conversations going on that I can't control.
Right.
From like different creatures that want to manifest in my imagination. Like I have like next to no control over my imagination. And it used to get me irate. It used to get me really bent out of shape. And now that I'm medicated, it's kind of like lessened that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like
still, can you not have a conversation with yourself in your head?
It's almost like it's in the distance. Like it's so far in the distance I can barely hear it. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like I can like it's not. I am afraid that they'll come back if I get used to the medication.
I don't believe that you can. I don't believe that you grow tolerant to that type of medication.
Okay.
Because there are some medications that like you can't grow a tolerance to.
That would be cool.
And I believe that antipsychotics are one of them.
The paranoid fits would come from the fact that I didn't know when the next episode was going to happen.
Sure, of course.
it would really make me mad that it's like 1 second I believe this, and now all of a sudden I don't believe that anymore. I believe this. It's like, what's going on with yourself? What, like, that was really stepping outside of myself and trying to see signs of like how to get better, we'll say. But it's not, I don't know, it's like having a pair of antennas, but mine's broken. So I'm still picking up half frequencies or something. I just have like a broken antenna. It's not like some type of cool quirk.
Right, like some people like to think it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny whenever people say like when they predict like something cool happening, like, oh, I'm a schizo. It's like, that's funny.
Yeah, but it's not funny whenever people try to like say, oh, I'm also schizophrenic and I've just mastered it.
That's funny.
Yeah, but not ha-ha funny.
No. Dangerous if you technically do have it. That's wicked dangerous.
Like stupid funny.
Right.
It's not like, yeah, it's not like ha-ha funny. It's not funny like a clown.
I've mastered depression.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've mastered ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
I am a black belt in, what's another mental disease? Anxiety.
Yeah, OCD.
I have an OCD aholic.
And that's another one. Like I just part of this has come more recently in my life, and particularly because you and I are so close. It bothers me when people act like mental diseases are quirky. And it's like,
yeah, like it's improved their life.
Right. It's like it's a hindrance to people who really have these things. And for you to be like, oh, haha, like whatever, one thing or another, I'm like, I don't know, when people act like, oh, I'm bipolar and like this, whatever. And it's like, are you though? Or are you just a shitty person? And you're just
they
like,
might be just trying to connect with somebody that might have a legit mental disease. Like in a way, they're trying to be like, oh, I kind of get it because I have OCD. And it's like, well, do you have OCD to the point where you can't leave your house because you have to flick the light
right?
switch
Do you have
so
real
much?
OCD?
Or are you
do you just
organized?
Right, exactly. Or are you just a neat freak?
Yeah.
Do you have real OCD? Because again,
Which are good qualities.
it looks
to have.
terrible.
Like, people don't like to recognize their good qualities, I think, to themselves, because it makes them look arrogant, you know. So they have to mask it with some type of quirky, like, oh, it's my this or it's my that, in order to do that. And it's like, well, no, maybe you're just a, you know.
Yeah, maybe you're just well organized.
Yeah, you're a well organized person.
Yeah.
I don't understand the whole I gotta have the radio on an even number.
Right.
Bump it at 15, 35, I don't care, 33,
Neither do
13,
I. It doesn't
12,
matter.
it doesn't. That's like superstition, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'm OCD about it. No, you're not. I'm gonna start saying that whenever I say like wild stuff. People are like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I'm schizo about it."
I've infected you.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, dude. People telling you they've mastered their schizophrenia.
I mean, I hope they have.
I hope they have too. But boy, oh boy, they're the first person in the history of the fucking world to ever do that.
Yeah, it's a wild ride for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only 31. I've had it for, like, I call it exacerbated. Like when it took effect, took a hold of me. I've had it for about, we'll say 5-6 years, maybe 7, and blew the hinges off my doors. Like, I literally have to get a needle in my butt once a month to like barely operate in society, because like I'm always like chatting about chatting about stuff that doesn't matter. I'm like bringing stuff up that doesn't exist.
Yeah. But it's like funny, like those are like the reasons I like you. Those are the reasons we hang out.
I'm glad I made a friend.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy socializing. I'm a huge socializer. A big reason I go down to the club is to
Socialize, yeah. Yeah,
That's a
because
reason
you don't drink or smoke cigarettes.
No, I pay my dues so that I have people to talk to.
You used to smoke cigarettes.
I did.
You were
I
cooler
used-
when you did.
Yeah, people like me a lot more, but
Yeah, not because like anything. Just you just looked cooler. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, not that you were like cooler personality or anything. It's just that like watching you smoke. It's cool to watch people smoke cigarettes.
yeah, they're like the way they hit it, the way that it takes the cherry drag,
Yeah, it's cool.
and I would probably I always bounce ideas off of people like at the social club. Like I call it harassing them.
Yeah.
There was a time where people were complaining about the election a couple months ago, and the one guy's like, "Your candidate's the Antichrist," and the other one's like, "No, your candidate's the Antichrist."
And you were like,
and I butted in, and I said,
"You are the Antichrist."
"Yes."
Yeah.
I said, "I know how to fix this debacle. I'm the Antichrist,
Right.
And if you want to end all war, you should just take me out back and shoot me in the head." And the bartender said, "Quit bothering my patrons and go shoot pool." And I do stuff like that.
That's so funny.
People were starting to understand. Like they're like, "Oh, he's a fellow, He
Right.
just chats."
Right.
I never try to truly offend anybody. I'm not I'll aggravate, light aggravation.
Yeah, you're
just
you're
playful
poking the
banter.
bear.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like you said, you changed your name on your Sheets app to Hail Satan.
yeah,
So whenever they make your food, they have to say food for Hail Satan.
yep. And they won't say it sometimes, and it's part of their job. I hate to say,
It is part of their job.
which is okay. I mean, I would hate for me to change it to something else.
Like what?
I don't know. Maybe a slur, but then I'd probably get reported.
Yeah, don't
like
do
you're
that.
gonna die, bitch.
That's a letter I'm working on for my niece. You're gonna die, bitch. Yeah. It's just like I said, because like I say crazy stuff sometimes.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
It's
well, some
funny.
people don't.
Some people don't say anything crazy.
No, some people, no. Like, yeah, like I'll say crazy things sometimes, and people are like, "What? What's it like inside that head of yours?" And it's like, this is why I think you and I are close. Because like sometimes you'll hit me with some crazy stuff, and I'll just dive into it. I'll just be like, "Yep, let's see." Let's
How
explore
far?
that. Yeah.
how far this rabbit hole? Will
Let's
go.
talk about that.
But speaking of election, it's over.
It is, thank God. That's one thing I want to avoid in this podcast.
Okay.
Is well, I mean, hold on. It is over, thank God. I'm not getting texts, I'm not getting mail, thank God. But I just don't ever want to get into politics really, cuz like
That's fine.
it's a deep hole, muddy pond, dude. Like, especially this last one was so polarizing, and like no one's gonna be happy. Like, not everyone's gonna, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People have their opinions on the whole thing, and like I just don't. It's something that I don't feel. Not that what
Someone had to win.
someone did have to win, and
You know?
like, I have opinions on politics, obviously, but like my biggest opinion on politics is I don't trust the fucking government. So like I think that they're all fucking puppets. I think that they're all shills. I think that none of them are here for our best interest. I think that they're all controlled by BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. Like, I think that the corporations run this country, not the fucking government. And the government is bought and sold and traded like baseball cards by these fucking mega corporations.
Oh wow.
So like, I think it's all a fucking puppet show. Like a Wizard of Oz type, like, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's over. Thank God it's over. I don't think that these next 4 years are going to be the end of America, like everybody is saying. But who knows? We'll see.
Only time will tell. You can't stop time.
Exactly. You sure can't. Time is a a funny thing. I listened to these recently. I listened to a podcast where a guy was talking about time, and like they were trying to like really get into the nitty gritty of what it is. Besides, what is measured on a watch, like time beyond the way that we perceive it as humans.
Well, it's just revolutions around the sun.
It's not. That's
what conceptualization.
I mean. That's what I mean. But like, it's not. Time is a weird thing.
Yeah, because doesn't it turns into different time if you're on the moon? Like time is different?
Time is different if you're on the top floor of a skyscraper.
Really?
Yeah, because time is affected by gravity.
Wow.
So the farther you are away from the gravitational force of the Earth, time changes.
What about your age?
What about it?
Do you still age in the appropriate amount of time, or are you
Yeah,
outside of it?
Yeah. It doesn't affect our metabolic rate.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. Okay, so like, think about this. If you were to invent some type of radio that could instantly transmit a message to an alien that is, let's say, 100 million light years away, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you are talking to them in real time, instantly, okay? So like, just how you and I are talking right now. And they're like, oh, hello, Alex. We are aliens from the nebula of blah, 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 blah.
Nice to meet you, aliens.
Right. Okay. So now say you tell them where we are, and they're like, oh, we're going to come see you. We'll be right there. We're going to fly our super cool spaceship towards you. They point their spaceship at you, and they start traveling towards us. Okay? Immediately, they're going to be talking to someone in the future.
So as soon as they get here, the people they were talking to then are
gone.
Dead. They're gone.
Like as soon as they start traveling towards you, even at not light speed,
I see what you're saying.
They're going to start talking to people in the future. If they turn their ship away and start traveling away, they're going to be talking to someone in like the 1800s.
Really?
Yeah. Like time is a weird thing.
Radio, are you saying like radio waves?
No. I'm talking about like a magic radio that doesn't rely on, it's got some type of like instant transmissionable signal. Because like radio waves travel slower than the speed of light. But like I'm talking about like a magic radio. Say it runs on sorcery.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. But yeah, these and like so like given enough time, right? It's like not impossible to theorize that like there's gonna be another Big Bang. Like even after like the heat death of the universe, like when everything spreads so far apart and loses all its momentum and loses all of its energy and everything's just dead and just floating.
Inert.
With enough time, it's not impossible for all the matter to collect in one area. Like that's kind of an inevitability given enough time. Right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a long time, like it could be trillions of years. But the thing is, Alex, is based on that, the idea that this is the first iteration of what has happened after the Big Bang is more unlikely than it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's and to think that this is the last one is equally as unlikely. What's more likely is that we are somewhere in the middle. And what's shitty to kind of think about is that means that, 2 trillion years ago,
we already had this
fucking conversation.
Huh. Well, that kind of stinks.
Yeah, I know.
But too bad, everybody. You're going to have to listen to it twice.
Yep. And then, who knows? Actually, maybe not even twice. This could be the 13th time I've had this conversation.
Oh, because it just implodes on itself.
And the only difference is that I'm wearing a red shirt in one of them, and you're wearing blue pants.
Huh.
Yeah.
And we're talking into bananas.
Exactly. and think we're recording a podcast.
Yes.
We both have schizophrenia.
Yep. And we just woke up.
Yep.
And we realized we're talking into
bananas. How come
my
my banana phone isn't working?
Yeah, my buddy used to walk around with a banana on base, pretending to talk on the cell phone, and people would be like, "Hey, Marine, what do you think you're doing?" And then he'd turn around real fast, and you'd see it was a banana, or he'd like put his arm down and like try to hide the banana, and be like, "Nothing," until they're like, "Let me see that." And then it'd be a banana.
Well, I do that to you whenever we like meet up in the morning for bike rides or something, and
yeah.
I have a banana that I give to you. I'll be like, "Hello, yeah, he's right here. Hold on, I'll give you the banana."
I'm in the shower.
Nah, tell him I'm not here. Yes, Bananakin. He's not here.
If you had a time machine, since you're talking about time, where would you time travel to?
The future.
The future? How far into the future?
Until
you liked how it looked, or?
No, I don't know. 100 years.
I thought you were going to say like 1 second at a time into the future. 100 years.
Yeah.
So 21, 24.
What if you only got one jump?
That's
like,
what I'm
if
saying.
you only got one choice?
Oh no.
So yeah, so like 1 second.
Mine changes.
So what? So like I'm just gonna jump 1 second into the future. Like I only get. What if you only get one?
I didn't.
This was your hypothetical. Sorry, I kind of hijacked it.
No, you're fine. I just didn't think that you could only get one jump. You could be lost in the past or future, so you better be up to snuff with where you want to live.
That's what I'm saying. And I definitely don't want to go in the past, especially not like far in the past. I don't want to go back before Wi-Fi and fucking video games.
No. So yeah, future, unless the future just wraps in on itself, and then you could hop back to this direct conversation.
Yeah.
Which you'd have a time machine.
Yeah, but again, what if you only get one jump?
That's the hardest. That's so bad. I don't want to time travel. I'm not going to do it. I'm not getting stuck somewhere I don't want to be. I like it here right now.
That's what I'm saying,
I don't want my moment
dude.
being somewhere else.
That's what I'm saying. Now, if it was like a belt like Cable has, like a device like Cable has, and you can jump all over time, I still would want to go into the future.
I asked you this question.
Because fuck the past, dude. We know what happened.
True. It's written down.
And again, I don't want to go back before I lived a life before Wi-Fi. And like, I don't want to have to go back to like not having high-speed internet in my pocket and like before my cell phone would work. You know what I mean? Like I take my cell phone 20 years into the past. Guess what my cell phone is? A fancy paperweight.
Yeah, because it won't work eventually because you don't have the
charger
or the ports or the electricity or anything.
Right.
It's just a piece of garbage.
Yeah, it's just a fancy paperweight.
That stinks.
A black mirror. People would be like, "What's with this black mirror that you carry around with you?" I'd be like, "Well, when electricity's fucking discovered, I'll show you what it can do." I plug it in and show them the camera on it, and they'd be like, "Whoa."
Yeah, if a time machine gets hijacked from you and you're stuck, like you're stuck.
But, go to the future. Who knows? Maybe they have time machines. Why? Where would you go?
It was the crucifixion of Jesus Christ.
Okay, but then you changed your answer when I said you only get one jump.
Yeah, because I don't want to be stuck back.
Yeah, you would not do well.
Nope, I wouldn't even speak their language.
Nope, sure don't.
They would probably string me out to dry too.
Yeah, especially with them glasses on your face. They'd think you were some kind of a fucking...
Oh, shit,
don't
break them.
They wouldn't know what... they wouldn't know what they were for. You'd have to try to explain to them.
I'd be like
They help me see. Please don't break them.
I'd be the only like white man.
Yeah. You would get so sick too.
Oh.
Like drinking their water and eating their shitty food.
No.
You know what I mean?
Because I'd be stuck there.
Yeah, you would get so sick until your body eventually adapted to it. Ugh. No
See,
thanks.
these are the things I don't think about when my brain comes up with questions and stuff. Like, just the inconvenience of half of it if it were true. Like time travel and...
Yeah. And like think about how bad everyone smelled before the invention of soap.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, they only lived to be like... They didn't live to be 100 like people... No, they lived older apparently, and sometimes some people live to be like 900
Yeah,
years
but
old.
those are stories.
Yeah, that's before sickness and illness,
Yeah,
apparently.
those are stories.
Right.
It is. 7:16.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know how long we've been talking.
Oh, that's not the thing.
Is that what you were wondering? Or do you want to know what time it was?
What time it was?
Yeah, it's
I don't have a watch.
It's 7:16. I only wear a watch because it measures my sleep and my heart rate and my steps and stuff.
Because it's been getting darker out earlier.
Yeah, and I noticed that the time on your stove in there is an hour fast because you guys never set your clocks back.
Yeah, I don't change stuff. Because I'm lazy.
Sure. Yeah, dude, I would not want to time travel back into the past. Maybe to like see, so like if I could leave, like if I could go back and leave, maybe like watch how the pyramids were built.
Wow.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Which pyramids? The ones
in Egypt.
Maybe the Great Wall of China.
Sure,
Maybe that war.
Sure. Yeah.
Experience,
sure.
Like, watching the Mongols take over China.
But like, yeah, if you only get one jump, like you got to pick a destination, then you're stuck there. I'm definitely not going into the past.
Future's the way to go.
Amen.
Kind of like Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
He went past and future, I think.
No, he went like so far into the future that it was like he eventually goes back to the past at the end. Did you ever watch the conclusion of Samurai Jack?
I only watched what Cartoon Network would show, and it was a lot of reruns.
Well, there was back in like, I believe it was probably like 2013, maybe later. There was like another season of Samurai Jack that was released that like concluded everything. And I got to admit, I don't like the way it ended.
Wow.
Yeah, can I spoil it for you, or do you want?
Please don't.
Are you going to watch it at some
I'll
point?
probably watch it at some point.
All right.
I like that kind of anime.
Would you rather be stuck in the middle of the ocean or the middle of the jungle?
That's tough. Probably that's tough. How long do I get to think on this one? Because the one has snakes and tigers and venomous animals and like spiders and stuff, and you can die a trench foot, and the other one is the ocean.
Right.
Where everything will eat you.
Right.
Either way, I'm probably going to die of dehydration. No lie. Unless I'm like licking water off of leaves. Even the rainfall will get me sick. Jungle.
Yeah, I would have to pick the jungle as well.
I'm not... Yeah, I can... Jungle.
You know what the worst part of being stuck in the jungle would be, in my opinion?
The mosquitoes.
Yes! Yes! Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
You can go into anaphylactic shock if you get bit by too many mosquitoes.
Is it at night, like once the sun goes down, you are going to get fucking eaten alive by mosquitoes.
By bugs.
Yeah, that would be the worst part.
You wouldn't be able to see. Your eyes would swell up shut.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep. And you know what I think? So like when I say stuck in the middle of the ocean, I'll give you that you have a life raft.
Oh, wow. How generous.
Yeah, because like treading water, you're dead in a couple hours. Like, how long do you think realistically you can tread water for?
I've done it.
Be honest.
Be honest. I've treaded water for a couple hours before, and
straight.
Like with where you
no breaks. You don't get to piss. You don't get to stretch. You don't get a drink of water.
You'd be cramping. But a lot of it's floating with your. Do you have a shirt or anything?
Sure. Yeah, you got the clothes that you were wearing when you got stranded in the ocean.
Oh wow! So you can't really float your pants up. You'll probably be wearing shorts because Bear Grylls make flotation devices out of pants.
It's true. I know how to do that.
Yeah, stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't know.
Realistically, how long do you think you could tread water for?
I don't know. Probably an hour until I cramp.
So yeah, and then you drown.
Yeah.
The sun would bake you alive. If you're in the wrong part of the ocean, you're gonna freeze to death.
Yep.
But so let's say I'll be generous. I'll give you a life raft.
Jesus.
I
don't like any of this.
You know what one of the worst parts of surviving in the middle of the ocean in a life raft is?
Sunburn.
That's up there. Do you know
seagulls?
Do you know the majority of like how people survive for like days at a like many days, like 40, 50 plus days?
Sea turtle blood.
Yes. You have to drink animal blood in order to not dehydrate. Because you can't drink the seawater.
Nope.
You'll be dead in a couple days.
So hopefully stuff comes to you. You better be fishing.
Yeah, and then you got to use the fish to catch birds. Then you rip their heads off and drink their blood.
Jesus.
Yep.
That's savage.
That's how people do it.
And they did it.
That, and there's like in a lot of like newer life rafts, like survival life rafts, there's rain catches. So if you get caught in the rain, it'll catch the rainwater for you and filter it. Not filter it out, but like filter it into like a bladder that's like built into the life raft that then you can drink out of.
I see.
Yeah, modern life rafts are pretty cool.
I don't want to be stranded on one of them.
No, neither do I. I would rather be lost in the middle of the woods than stranded in the middle of the ocean. You're never going to get found.
That's the scariest.
In the middle of the ocean, you're never going to get found.
Unless you have some type of device on you that beeps. Or some type of dye pack to change the watercolor at night so that you can see fluorescent light shine off of it or something. Glow-in-the-dark fluorescent dye pack. Anything. Just give me anything.
Yeah, so I agree. We both agree. Would rather be stranded in the jungle than in the ocean, and the mosquitoes would be the worst part.
I've asked you this before, and it's Batman or Deathstroke.
Yeah, I think Batman wins that fight.
I've heard it's pretty even, but it mostly comes out Batman.
He's
opinion.
He's just so smart.
That's true.
Yeah.
And rich.
Yeah.
And handsome.
Yeah.
But I think I am going to call it for myself.
All right, dog. I'm not just going to sit here and keep talking to myself. That'd be weird.
Right.
Although there was a point in time where I thought, like when I thought about doing this, because like Bill Burr podcasts by himself. It's just him talking to himself.
I would go batshit crazy because I would be looking at my own algorithms, and eventually it would just turn into a perpetual loop of me explaining and just saying the same thing.
Right. You would just tell the same stories.
Because my life's not that interesting. I've only lived 31 years,
right.
and I've hardly been anywhere.
Right.
So what am I going to talk about before it turns into me talking about the same thing again?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I could tell you about how I don't know. Once again, haven't done a lot.
Right. Yeah. There was part of me that thought about like doing episodes by myself before, but like I would have to have probably talking points written down. We've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes anyway. So
cool.
All right, buddy. Well, until next time, I love you.
Love you too.
All right. We're out.